Hello, ladies. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, welcome. Revive and Thrive Women. It is so good to be here. I'm so excited for what I'm going to teach you today. I'm so excited. I have had so many questions around this topic, so I'm going to wait a couple minutes, let some people join. As you all are coming in, welcome. My name is Cassandra, founder of Revive and Thrive Women. If you are new to this community, I'm so happy to have you here. We've had a lot of women joining recently, so introduce yourself. Let me know what you do. Let me know how I can support you. I absolutely love building community in this group. If you have been here for a long time and you come to all of my live streams, come and say hello as well so I can say hi. In today's video, what I am going to be going over is some movement. So I'm in a new space. Usually you all see me in my home office. This is my living room. I did not clean things up before I do this live stream. So yes, I've got kid stuff everywhere and that's just the real. But today I wanted to be on my mat so I can actually show you some things that you can do in your body. So for those of you who are new to this group, every single Tuesday I come in and I answer questions that my community has asked me during the week. I get questions on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, in conversations I have with women throughout the week. And so I do my best to get all of those questions down on paper and then come in weekly on Tuesdays to this Facebook group, the Revive and Thrive Women Facebook group, and answer the questions that I know are going to benefit all of you. I have been getting a lot of questions around hips lately. A lot of questions around how to strengthen hips, how to stretch hips, why are my hips so tight, all the things, right? And as you may or may not know, a big part of the work that I do in my coaching is embodiment. It is one of my core pillars of work that I do. It's part of the methodology that I have. It's something unique to me. I don't see a lot of other leadership coaches out there getting their students on their mats every single day, but that is a non-negotiable for me because all of the patterns that you're holding in your body that are typically holding you back are patterns that you have within your body. And as women, we store a lot of emotional trauma in our body. And so it can't go unnoticed if we're trying to move forward and succeed in our life. So today I'm going to do a little training on hips and things that you can do during your workday to alleviate tension that you have in your hips. I'm going to go over why your hips are hurting all the time because so many of you have mentioned to me that you have a lot of hip pain, a lot of low back pain. And so as I'm going through this training, if you have additional questions, throw them in the chat. Let me know you're here. Say hello. If you're here live and you have a yoga mat and just a little bit of space in your house, in your room, roll that baby out so that you can do this with me so you can see how good it feels. Okay. For those of you who don't know my background, I was a vice president in corporate for many years, and I left that position. I retired from the corporate space in March of 2022 to start my own company, which is Revive and Thrive Women. I'm a leadership and success coach, and I help women advance in their career while also advancing in their family life so that they can really thrive in all areas of their life. I feel very passionate about teaching women how to have it all. And I totally believe that we get to have it all. There are too many stories out there that say if we want to have an ambitious career, we have to sacrifice our family life. If we want to have a family life, we have to sacrifice our career. And I just do not believe in any of that. And so all the things that I'm teaching are helping you to thrive in your body, thrive in your life so that you do get to have it all, whatever that looks like for you. So first, let's just talk about why you are experiencing pain in your hips. This is going to apply to many of you because most of us are sitting at a desk all day and we don't get a lot of movement in. So the first thing that I want to say about this is, especially if you are sitting at a desk for multiple hours during your workday, which most of us are, I would definitely recommend you to start thinking about incorporating movement into your workday if you're not doing that already. So this can look like taking a 10-minute walk outside. This can look like doing some of the stretches that I'm going to show you today. I would highly encourage you to make this a non-negotiable because it will completely change your life and it will completely change the way in which you do your work. Many of us don't have that connection. When we think of having great success in our work, we think of all the things we need to do, and many of those things don't have anything to do with our body. But the truth is that when you hold tension and stress in your body is in a state of survival mode, and you're not going to be able to achieve the things you want and show up as a leader because your body is micromanaging all this pain that you're having within yourself. Okay. So the first thing that I want to just invite you into is creating movement as a non-negotiable in your workday. A really easy way to do that, if it's something that you don't do right now, again, is walks outside. And the second tip I'm going to give you is, if you don't have a yoga mat, purchase a yoga mat. You can get them on Amazon for pretty cheap. There's many places you can get yoga mats, but have some sort of space that's designated to movement by your desk. So it's a constant reminder of moving, right? How many times do we have meetings that end early? Maybe we had an hour meeting that only went 45 minutes. And instead of moving our body in the 15 minutes that we had, we scrolled on Instagram or TikTok and completely lost train of time, or our time. And then we've got a 1 o'clock meeting and we're off to the races, right? These little mini areas of these little like small sections in your workday are going to be the sections I'm going to invite you to move. Okay. So let's get into our hips. So as women, we tend to hold a lot of emotion and a lot of tension in our hips. So on a physical level, again, if you are sitting down most of your workday, that means that your hips are tightening. The muscles around your hips are tightening. You have lots of different muscles that go around your hips. One that I'm going to talk about a lot today is your psoas muscle. This is a muscle that is a big player when it comes to fight or flight response. And it's also a muscle that tends to be pretty tight, because when we're sitting down, it's in a contracted state. When we're running, it's in a contracted state. When we're walking, it's in a contracted state. So really, there isn't a lot of opportunity that we give this muscle to release and stretch. And that muscle, when it's tight, will also lead to low back pain and tightness in all the areas of your body, up all the way up to your spine. Your psoas muscle is one of the longest muscles in your body. You have two of them, one on each side, and it attaches on the inside of your thigh and goes all the way, wraps around your hip and goes all the way up to your thoracic spine. So you can imagine when that when that muscle gets tight, it brings everything in, and you start to be really contracted and it starts to hurt. So I'm going to talk about stretches that you can do again during your workday that are going to help to release and open up your psoas muscles, and then also strengthen those muscles too, because that's really important as well. So on the physical side, when we're sitting all day, this is not ideal position for our body. We were not created to be sitting all day. Unfortunately, in our modern way of working, most of us are sitting all day. If you have a stand-up desk, I would highly suggest that you use that. If you have a way to stand up during your workday, then I would highly suggest that you do that, because again, the more hours that we stay in this seated position, the less ideal it is for our body. And so that is the reason why your hips and your low back and everything is hurting, because you're sitting in a chair all day. And that's not a great way to be for our body. So that is on the physical side. Now, on the emotional side, as I mentioned, as women, we tend to hold a lot of emotion and a lot of trauma in our hips. So this can go all the way back to childhood. We can have childhood traumas that we took on as a child, and those experiences are still living in our body, and they're creating tightness, they're creating pain, they're creating blocks, and we're not able to have like ideal energy flow through our body because we've got these areas that are really stuck and blocked up. So that's another thing that we really need to consider, and another reason why I'm such a proponent of embodiment work, because as you open your hips up, you're going to allow energy to flow through in a more able way, in a more aligned way. And that's going to help to heal some of these things as well. If you want more information on how your body really can hold on to some of these traumas, there's a really amazing book out there called The Body Keeps Score that I would highly encourage you to read. It's very, very insightful. And there's a lot of research that has shown that different areas of our body tend to hold on to different things. The other thing that I want to mention too is that the psoas muscle is a big player when it comes to fight or flight response. So the reason why why we have a fight or flight response is because when we see a perceived threat, our body wants to help us to get away from that threat. So if we think about animals, if there's a cat and it sees a dog, it needs to run away from that dog as quickly as possible. So its fight or flight response will switch on. All of the energy in that cat's body is going to go to getting that cat away from the dog as quick as possible. And part of what happens is that both of its psoas muscles contract so that it can run faster. Now, when the cat is away from the dog, the cat will start to shake because it's releasing that stress response. So sometimes we see a cat shaking underneath the car and we think it's because it's scared, but really it's just processing the trauma that it experienced in that exact moment. Now, unfortunately, we don't do that as humans because we think shaking is weird, and we don't process things when we should because we sweep everything under the rug. And so again, we have these traumas that are kind of stuck inside of our body. So let's dive in and go through some stretches that you can do that are going to help you to reduce pain in your hips, and that are also going to help you to get some energy flow back in, because again, energy flows through our entire body all of the time. And if we have these areas that are really tense, that's going to be an area that it's not able to flow as ideally, and that will result in some chronic pain. So let me get things situated, and I'm going to teach you a few really simple things. So as I mentioned, if you have a yoga mat, then place your yoga mat inside of your office space. If you are working from home like I am, you can have an area next to your desk that your yoga mat is rolled out, so that every time you have a little micro break, it's a reminder, it's a visual reminder that, oh, I can take a little bit of movement right now. I can take a break and do a little bit of movement right now. And that's really going to help your body throughout the workday. So that would be the first thing, the first piece of advice that I give you, because again, what I want you to start thinking about is, how can I become a woman who moves my body on the regular during my workday? How is that possible? A lot of times we don't want to do like things that are outside of work during work time. And I'm going to invite you to really move past that limiting belief, because this is your body. You only have one of them. You deserve to feel good in your body, and you will not feel good in your body if you are sitting down at a computer 8 hours a day, not moving your body. Okay. All right. So that's my rant about moving during the workday. So let's get into a couple of different things that you can do. So the first thing is really simple. And if you have taken yoga classes before, you have probably done this. This is a movement called cat-cow. This is really a helpful movement for your spine, for your hips, for your low back. And again, it's really simple. So you're going to get into a tabletop position on your yoga mat, bringing your wrists directly underneath your hips, wrists directly underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. And I like to keep my toes curled under because it stretches out your feet. I see a lot of teachers out there that cue cat-cow with untucked toes, and I'm always going to ask you to tuck your toes under because you really want to stretch your feet as much as possible. So when you get into this movement, you're going to start to take a deep inhale. You can bring your chin up, chest forward. And then on your exhale, bring the sides of your waist up towards the sky. Tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin towards your chest. Then inhale, untuck your tailbone, bring your chest forward, bring your eyes up towards the sky. And exhale, sides of your waist are going to come up high towards the sky. Tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin towards your chest. And then you just follow your breath and do this movement. So this is cat-cow. The benefits that this position or these two positions have is that it helps to release your psoas muscles. It helps to open up your back, and it's allowing for some mobility in your spine. And as you do this, you might find that you feel tense in certain areas. So like right now, I'm having some tension in my left hip. My left hip is one that acts up, especially since having my daughter, because I hold her on that side of my body. So I put a lot of additional weight on that side of my body, and it's something that I'm aware of and I'm doing my best to change, but I always tend to just hold her on that hip. So if you find an area that feels tense as you're doing this, you can pause and send a little bit of breath to that area. I like to close my eyes as I'm going through this movement because you don't really need a lot of visual, and it helps to just tune into your body when you don't have anything to look at. Okay. So that's the first thing, ladies. Now, as I'm going through these cat-cows, I'll do a few rounds of cat-cows, and then I'll start to do hip circles. So I'm going to bring my hands a little bit farther up, and then I'm going to do hip circles, and I'm going to go clockwise. And again, as I'm doing this, I'm just feeling if there's any areas that are feeling tense. And again, for me, it's my left hip. So I'm going to hang out here for a little bit, take a couple deep breaths, breathe into my side body right here. That's also a little bit tight. So some benefits of hip circles are it helps to open your hips up, helps to add some movement. Movement is lubrication for your body. So if you are not moving all day, imagine how stuck and tight and tense it can feel. If you just do like 5 minutes of hip circles every few hours in between your meetings, your hips are going to feel so much better because again, as I'm moving, I'm lubricating my body. My femur is moving into my hip socket in different ways, and that's going to help with, again, leading to things not feeling so stuck. So now I'm going to go counterclockwise. I'm going to make the circles a little bit bigger. Again, using your breath to guide you all through this. So taking deep inhales, taking deep exhales. As you're doing this, definitely feel how your body is feeling. In the areas that feel especially tight, you can take a moment to pause, take a moment to breathe, and again, just send breath into that hip area. Now, as your hips open up, it's also going to open up your low back, because when all the muscles around your hips are tight, it pulls on your low back, which is why you're experiencing low back pain. So as you go through these hip circles, and you can even do these types of hip circles in cross-legged, so you could even come into a cross-legged position and start to do these hip circles and just feel how your body feels. Now, when you're sitting down like this, doing the hip circles, you're going to feel it more in your side body. Your side body is the length of space from your hip all the way up to your armpit. Many of the clients that I work with, their side body is really shortened because of the work that they do at computers. When they're sitting at a computer, you can see my body is like this. My side body is short, right? My head forward, shoulders down. So what I teach my students to do is have proper alignment in their body as they work so that they can lengthen all of the areas in their body that feel really tight. Okay. So the two things that I am going to invite you to do for this week, cat-cow, hip circles. You can do it on all fours like I just taught you, or you can do it seated like I just taught you as well. The biggest thing that I hope that you get out of this video, ladies, is just creating a practice during your workday that is a non-negotiable. Again, some really pro tips is just to have your yoga mat rolled out so that you constantly see it. So that when you have those little micro breaks in your day, you can go to your mat and practice. You can do cat-cows, you can do hip circles, you can do stretches. I will continue to come on here every so often and give you some more embodiment practices that you can do. And then just so all of you know, one thing that is in the works for all of you right now is I am creating a membership. And in that membership, I'm going to have a catalog of embodiment exercises that you can do throughout your workday. So some of the videos will be 5 minutes. Some of them will do maybe a 20-minute practice, shoulder openers, hip openers, heart openers. I'm going to focus on all of the points in your body that are probably pretty tight because I know most of you are sitting at a computer doing work. So just know that that's coming. But in addition to that, I will continue to come on here and give you some more information as to how you can move your body in a way that's going to support you in having such a successful day in your work day. And Caitlin, I'm so glad that you are here. And yes, when you are cleared to do some yoga, definitely do some of these practices. Now, I will say, because I know your situation, Caitlin, a really gentle thing that you can do that you might be able to start off with is what I was just showing here at the end, where you're just sitting down and you just do some hip circles like this. You can just do really small hip circles, and then you can make them bigger, really tapping into how your body feels as you recover. So that's a really nourishing and restorative way to gently move your body, so it's not super rigorous. And it can be a really great way to start alleviating some of that pain that you might be feeling in your hips. So I'm so glad that some of you were able to come here live. This video is going to live on the Facebook page forever, so you can pin it. You can keep coming back to this. If you see this video somewhere else and you're not a part of the Revive and Thrive Women community, go to Facebook and join our group. I come live here every single week and answer questions. If you all start to ask more questions about the body, I will definitely do more of these Q&As on my mat, because I have a lot to teach you about this. Embodiment training is something that I've been doing for almost 7 years. So I am qualified. I have so many certificates. I have a 200-hour certification, a 300-hour certification. I was an ambassador for a yoga school. I co-taught a teacher training. So in addition to my corporate experience, being a VP in corporate, I also have this other wisdom that I love to share with all of you, which is all through the body and embodiment. And I do think it's so important. So I will see you all soon. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me know if you have any questions on this, and practice away and have happy hips, because when your hips are open, it just opens so much else up. Your shoulders open up, like literally everything opens up, because everything is connected. So if you've got tight hips, I'm going to guess you have tight shoulders and a tight neck and headaches and all the things. And so start with your hips and notice how it impacts the rest of your body. Okay. I will see you all soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.